Hi, I'm Deacon John Wilson, Education Enrichment Director for West Angeles Church. Well, students going to school in fall 2026 will have something different that other students didn't have that they need to be concerned about in terms of college affordability. Parents, there is a limit to how much parent loan you'll be able to take out for the life of the student while they're in college, and that limit is $200,000. Now, a lot of you will say there's no way I'm going to exceed that. I'm not taking no loans, and there's no way I'll have to do that. But a lot of you are already on a timeline and on a path in which you will take out parent loans. And the quicker you realize that, the better things will be. And you'll be able to do some things to control the costs and work with your student on it. Part of this is you want them to go to the school they want to go to, but it's not realistic. It's not. And this video is going to be showing you what's it going to look like for you in terms of how much you're expected to take out on loans for 4 or 5 years. A lot of you already say, it ain't going to be 5 years. I finished in 4. Half my students, it takes 5 years. A lot of it is the student, they don't know themselves. They have the wrong major. They start to fail classes. They got to change their major. Things change. And they get into that 5th year. But I'll show you the breakdown for both. And you need to ask yourself, is this something you can tolerate? The limit's going to be $200,000 for the life of your student in college for your parent loan. Now, in this video, I'm not going to cover how much that means, but you're talking about $3,000 a month if it's $200,000 for 10 years. Can you make that payment? A lot of you are planning, you don't think you're planning to do it, but you are. You're getting ready to do it. Now, this video isn't about me trying to tell you what you should or should not do. That's not my role. But it's to show you the effect of this new law. It used to be you could take, listen to this, unlimited parent loan for your student. I had parents taking $300,000, $400,000 in loans and regretting it. These are $4,000 and $5,000 a month. In a year, you're only paying back 60 or 70, 60,000 of it. Can you imagine having a loan of 400,000 for your students' education? A lot of my parents did that. A lot of you feel you just won't pay it. But now with the way things are going with the debt and the way the government is defaulting people on their loans, and ruin your credit rating. Some of you might think, well, the student will make enough money to help me pay it back, but that's a lot to ask for that kind of money. Let's look at some of the real numbers that we're talking about here. Okay, parents, here's an example of how that $200,000 comes up. Let's suppose we have a family income of $80,000 and a GPA of 3.75 for your student. Based on my experience and my files and my knowledge of what happened last year and the year before and the year before, here's what I expect you owe after 4 or 5 years. This is what your parent loan will be for typically, the amount you owe. Or the remaining net amount that you'll owe is what these are trying to be. CSU, it's 23,000. Remember, I'm assuming the student already takes out their loan, which is way smaller, right? After 4 years, that would be 92. So nowhere near. 4.5 years, 103. 5 years, 115. Now you'll pay back close to $200,000 if they stay in school 5 years at a CSU and you just take the debt every year pretty much. Now the things your student can do to reduce that debt, we'll cover that another time, but not enough to make a difference for what we're talking about today. But you can see this is nowhere near the 200,000 if you do CSU with parent loans. Okay? Then you have UCs, which will run a little bit higher, but they're still not 200,000. I mean, They go 6 years, it gets close. Again, I'm looking at UCs here now, right? Right down here is what I'm looking at, UCs. I'm sorry, UCs right here, okay? Now, private colleges. Remember, we have very selective private colleges next. Now, here's where if they go to school 6 years, part of that 6 years, you can't use your parent loan. They'll have to take out loans from private providers, like the ones I talk about in the plus loan video I did a minute ago. There's a private provider they'll have to use, and interest rates are going to be higher, and they may need a cosigner. That will be you, parents. Very selective private colleges, which a lot of you guys really want for your student. You want that selective private college for your student, okay? That's what you want. They're asking for it, that's what you want. I'll give examples of these in a minute. $37,000 is what my average family will owe for a private college per year. You can see in the 6 year, it gets over $200,000. Very selective private colleges, it gets to be $312,000, $260,000, and $234,000 after 4.5 years. After 4 years, you're already over $200,000. So since you're in the middle of the semester, probably, you're going to have to take that loan out for probably the full 52. As a private loan, the student's going to have to take it. You got to co-sign because the government will not offer a parent loan after that point for low interest. Common public colleges. We'll talk about what those are in a minute. Those get pretty expensive, like Arizona State, Arizona, Oregon State, UNLV. These are what I call common public. Somebody said university. Somebody said LSU, Alabama. These are all common public colleges that are common, mean they're commonly requested on my program. Washington State, you get the idea. And there are some schools that are affordable. I call those special reduced cost colleges. Look how much lower they are in debt that you'll be taking out. Now, I had a video where I talked about some of those schools, but they're probably, if you're looking at very selective private colleges, you probably don't want to hear about those because the students probably go to a school where that's where everybody's going to selective private colleges. I have a video I did on that the name of the college doesn't matter. I'll include a link to that video below so you can check that out on your own, okay? But you have different types of colleges, depending on the type of college, as you see here, that will determine whether you go over the 200,000. No chance on these special reduced cost colleges. Private college, if you're interested in knowing what those colleges are, why don't you slip me a comment below? I'll answer you. Why don't you write me an email? I'll leave my email in the description block. But I've done videos on that before. You can look at it in the playlist and find that, okay? What are some examples of private colleges that aren't incredibly selective? I mean, they are selective, that's for sure. You can get rejection letters to these colleges, but this is a 3.75 student in this example, right? Biola, LMU, because I think a 3.75 will get in all these schools, but they won't get a merit award. That will cover most of the costs. They may get a few $1,000s, and I factor that into my averages. Biola, LMU, Chapman, University of San Francisco, University of Houston, University of Miami, Drexel, Howard, Spelman, Morehouse. Examples of private colleges. Second page, by the way, I'll have a link to this document that I'm going to include in the description block, okay? Here's an example of selective private college. Once I tell you 4, you'll get it. NYU, Columbia, USC, Stanford. There's many others, Harvard, Georgetown. These are all going to be schools of Rice University, Vanderbilt. These all are going to be Emory. Those are the ones I hear a lot. And they are selective, no question about it. Very selective. And very selective schools cost a lot of money, which means in that chart above, you have probably a good possibility you'll have more than $200,000, which is a federal limit for parent loans. about common public colleges. I mentioned them earlier. ASU, Arizona State, University of Arizona, University of Oregon. You see them right here, right? UNLV, University of Washington, Washington State. So you'll have a link to this. Let me summarize. The federal government is only going to cover $200,000 for the life of your student in college. And it is a good possibility you could exceed that without picking the proper college. Again, if you're interested in a lot more colleges that are reduced, I did a video on it. But call me, we can have a talk. I want to talk to you about affordability. And I know it's not a popular conversation to have because you want your students to have the school they want. You may want them to have schools that are known and prestigious. But you also don't want a lot of debt. You don't want to end up in debt. God bless you. I hope that helps. Thank you very much. Again, click like and subscribe. You want to get videos like this. It improves the reach of our videos, and it gives you that great information when you need it, especially during this difficult college season. Things come up. And then in the spring, you're going to have a really tough decision to make, and I'm getting you ready here for it now. I'll be doing a few more videos on kind of what's happening right now at this stage in the college process, etc. Just like and subscribe, and you'll be able to keep up. God bless you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye now.